Hi fans, and welcome to this Week 7 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Last Friday night, the Wolverines defeated Canon-McMillan at homecoming 40-8 at the Wolverines. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to review last week's victory over Canon-McMillan. We'll preview this Friday's big game at West Allegheny, and we'll also let you see highlights of last Friday night's game. All of that and more on the pregame show here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
The Wolverines entered Week 6 5-0 after handing Upper St. Clair their worst loss in program history. Meanwhile, Canon-McMillan was winless coming off of a non-conference loss at Fox Chapel. It was homecoming at the Wolverines as Woody High looked for another Southeastern Conference win over the Big Macs.
Macy straight drop back, feels some pressure as he steps up. He'll be wrapped and he will be sacked. A delayed blitz coming in there for Laquan Bowden. And it will carry into the hands of the deep man. That's Art Tompkins from his own 29 running to the far boundary. Across the 40 to 45 inside of Big Mac territory and finally brought down as he carries the ball inside of the 40. High snap. Sanders looks, or rather Jones was looking for Sanders. Instead the pass across the middle is tipped and intercepted. And a Canon-McMillan linebacker has that football and he will be banged around and brought down just shy of the 25-yard line at the 23. And Canon-McMillan was running a wildcat. The Wolverines saw it coming a mile away. Now it's Miles Sanders on the carry to the right-hand side, and there he goes, down the far boundary. Call that one back. Miles Sanders goes 60 to the house. There's not a yellow flag in sight. Manesi takes the snap, looks left. Now comes back right under pressure. Intercepted by Mike Nash. Nash inside of the 30. Jones throwing down the right side of the field, a receiver wide open, bobbles, catches, touchdown, Jamon Dunn. Now it's an AC straight on the drop back. He's pressured, dancing around, and he'll be brought down in the backfield. The blitzer was Lee, who gets in on the sack, as does Laquan Bowden. A big loss, and it's fourth down for the Big Macs. And AC will hand off, and whatever momentum there may have been is negated quickly. Sidecar to his left, he'll run the draw, and the Wolverines were not at all surprised as Damon Johnson was the first Wolverine there. He doesn't make the tackle. Instead on the tackle for the Wolverines is Tariq Thompson. Jones, pass complete. Isaiah Brooks cutting to the far boundary. He has one man to beat. He will take it to the end zone for a Woodland Hills touchdown. Isaiah Brooks with a 54-yarder. Jeremiah pumps, hesitates, retreats. As he runs to the right-hand side, he'll dump it off to Joel Shaw. Shaw barreling through white jerseys to the far boundary. Jones looking left, looking back right as he directs traffic. Jones retreating, running to his right-hand side. He's sending guys deep. Now Jeremiah's going to tuck and run. Inside of the 30 as he cuts to the near boundary. Into open field inside of the 25, and it'll be brought down at the 22-yard line. Jeremiah Jones in the shotgun. Pumps left, looks back right. Cutting across the field is Art Tompkins. Tompkins stiff arms, brought down at the 12-yard line. Jones runs to his right. Has lots of time as he directs traffic. Now he's going to throw back across his body, and leaping up is Stephon Hawthorne, and he'll catch a Woodland Hills touchdown. And he's going to run the draw handoff, and an ill-advised leap into the line of scrimmage there by the ball carrier. Jeremiah Jones looks left, pumps left, now looks back to his right. Going to throw it deep down that far sideline for Jamon Dunn, who catches the football along that far boundary, still on his feet, inside of the 10, across the goal line for a Woodland Hills touchdown. An AC in the shotgun, pulls the ball out of the belly. He's hit hard by a blitzing Laquan Bowden, and then he'll be brought down deep in the backfield, a loss of 6 on that play. Tompkins takes the end around as he retreats, now picks up a block across the 40, leaping his way forward to the 45-yard line. Jeremiah Jones straight drop back. Looks to his right as he has all day. Throws across the middle. It's complete to Joel Shaw. Shaw spinning away from Big Max. Barreling his way now to the 40-yard line. Gunham will take the handoff. Big hole inside of the 30, inside of the 25. First down yardage or more for Hassan Gunham. Handoff. Gunham running left, lowering the shoulder, driving, crossing the goal line for the Woodland Hills touchdown. Kick to the left, an AC hit, wrap, sack, brought down. About 10 yards deep in the backfield. No handoff. And again, the ball carrier is Milligan, and Milligan is brought down in the backfield. Joel Shaw in on the tackle. The pass is bobbled and then caught by the receiver down the near boundary, and he is off to the races. There goes Brady Ruth. Ruth will go to the house. He'll look right the whole way. The ball is batted, then it's caught by an offensive lineman, and he will carry it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. How about that? The 2-point conversion for George Carson, the 6'2 center. Return man for Woodland Hills here is Jamon Dunn, spinning his way to the near boundary. Across the 30, across the 40, cutting it towards the midfield stripe. He'll be brought down. Snap a little low, but a handoff to Seed Holt, who runs left, who has a big hole, and he will be brought down just shy of the first down marker. A pickup of 9 for Seed Holt.
Jeremiah Jones threw for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the defense held Canon-Mac to less than 50 yards as the Wolverines remained perfect with a 40-8 win over the Big Macs. Woodland Hills will step out of Southeastern Conference and Quad A action in Week 7 as they travel to West Allegheny to take on the top-ranked team in AAA. We are the Woodland Hills Wolverines. Since 1987, we've been a part of some of the most electrifying football games in Western Pennsylvania, and we've established a national reputation of excellence. Whether you're a former player, a Woody High alum, a parent, or a fan, you're part of our Wolverine family. And now you can join us by becoming a part of our new booster club, the Wolverine Nation. Visit WHFBA.org and see how your donation can help our student athletes while earning you unique benefits. We're more than just a booster club. We are the Wolverine Nation.
Hi again, fans, and welcome back to this Week 7 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Adam Gusky here, sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's game against West A, let's take a look to last Friday's homecoming victory over Canon-Mac, a real complete game victory for your team.
Yeah, I think we did a lot of positive things during the game, and one thing, the one negative is the penalties. I think every week we get some touchdowns called back. Usually it's Miles. He had, I think, 8 or 9 touchdowns so far this year called back. We had 3 called back in that game, 2 for him and 1 where Mike Nash intercepted the ball and ran it for touchdowns. And we got to be more aware of where we're at and what we're doing on the field. That's something we got to concentrate on this week and every week after this.
Coach, talk about overcoming the frustrations of having those number of touchdowns called back, almost a dozen this season thus far.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. I feel bad for Miles, because one thing he does, he has a high percentage of running, per carry, and we get such a big lead early in games. He doesn't get as many carries as he will probably down the stretch here, but and when you have touchdowns called back and you only have so many touches, he's probably averaging a touchdown every 5 or 6 times he touches the ball. It's, it's disappointing for him, and I feel bad for him because he's such a great kid.
Let's talk about the passing game. Last week during the pregame show, it was almost foreshadowing. You talked about needing to getting that passing game going. Jeremiah Jones threw for over 200 yards.
Yeah, I told you one thing we had to do was improve on our passing game, and we worked last week a little bit harder on it. We put in a couple new things, and one of the plays was the one to Isaiah Brooks, where he caught a quick slant and took it to the house. And actually, we had he's a senior, and he scored a touchdown, his first touchdown. Stephon Hawthorne scored his first touchdown, and he saw him. Gannum scored his first touchdown. So that, it was great for all three of them, being seniors and homecoming and everything.
How about Jamon Dunn? 2 catches for 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards.
Jamon is, developing into one of our top receivers. Just did a great job, getting in the open and catching the ball. He has great speed at that wideout position. He got behind some corners and Jeremiah found him and threw him the ball.
Coach, it seems like that defense is really hitting on all cylinders now.
They shut out the last 3 opponents, and the varsity actually shut out Canon-McMillan. We put the JVs in late in the game, and they were able to break for a touchdown. But that was another great effort. The last 2 weeks, we played great defense, limiting the opponent to varsity-wise under 100 yards each game, which is quite a feat in high school football.
Coach, let's talk about this week's game at West A. First of all, talk about playing a team of West A's caliber.
I have a lot of respect for Bobby Pelko and the program that he's developed out there. There's not a big difference in the number of students at West A and Woodland Hills, so it's kind of, we might have 50 more boys or something than they do. But he's put together a great program in AAA, one of the top programs. He won the last 2 WPL championships. He has a great football team this year, a lot of tradition. It's an exciting game because it'll be a big game. A lot of people will be there. A lot of people want to see. I know a couple people called me and said it's the game of the week for them. And, it's kind of exciting from that aspect. And, it's a big game, gets us ready for the next 2 games because they're going to be, the next 3 games we play, West A, Mount Lebanon, and Penn Hills are all winning programs. I think they won most of their games. So Penn Hills lost 1 and Mount Lebanon, I think, lost 2. So it's going to be a big challenge for us the next 3 weeks. So this gets us in that frame of mind and in that work environment.
Coach, you touched on Miles Sanders earlier on in the interview. Coach Palco is quoted as saying that Miles Sanders may be the best running back he's ever seen at the high school level.
Well, that's a great compliment for Miles, and he is one of the best that's been ever here at Woodland Hills. I never pick a best at anything, but he is one of the best, and he has some great ability, and he's just one of our weapons on our team, and we don't want to overuse him, but he's always there when we need him, and he makes big plays. Coach Pelko might be blowing a little pregame smoke, but I'm sure they'll know where he's at every time he's on the field.
Let's get back to the West A Indians. First of all, talk about their offense.
Last couple of years, they've used a wildcat offense where the quarterback is more of a running back than a passing back, and they've been very successful with it. With Caputo and the Dylan kid they have now. Now they moved him to tailback, and they have a big quarterback, 6'3" kid who throws the ball well, and he has some good receivers. So they're trying to use a lot more of the passing game offensively. They still will spread you out and have some running plays and passing plays off it, but they have a very good passing attack, and they're averaging over 40 points a game against some pretty good people.
How about the Indians' defense?
It takes you a long time just to figure out what they're doing because every play is a different look and a different stunt, depending on what we're doing, where we're lined up. So it's very hard to practice against them because they use so many stunts. I think we charted over 100 plays, and 90% of them, there's some type of stunt going on with the linebackers. They do a lot of unorthodox stunts that you haven't seen a lot, and we have to prepare for them and get our kids ready for them.
Talk about getting ready for a 7 o'clock kickoff instead of a 7:30 kickoff. I know it's only a half hour, but that can make a big difference, especially with a long road trip.
We still haven't decided what time we're going to leave, and that kicks everything up a half hour. I know we used to play at 7 all the time, but now we're used to 7:30 playing in the South Hills. So it's definitely going to put a little time crunch on us getting that by the time we leave school to get dressed or get our equipment and go out there and get dressed.
What's for dinner on Wednesday night? Chicken wings. Come on down to Turtle Creek for Wednesday night wings at the Wolverina. Fresh, whole wings, hand-breaded and hand-tossed with 4 different flavors. And the best part is that all proceeds benefit the Woodland Hills football program. Wednesday night wings at the Wolverina, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Wednesday during the season. All right, fans, let's see where the Wolverines stand in the Southeastern Conference.
And now let's take a look at the MSA Sports WPIAL Quad A Top 10 rankings.
Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this Week 7 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. If you can't make it out to West Allegheny for this Friday night's game, you can tune in on our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM. We'll have the coverage on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com. Our radio broadcast is also live and archived on msasports.net. We'll have live coverage on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, and Verizon Fios Channel 37. And don't forget, you can tune into replays of Friday night's game on all of our television affiliates and our YouTube channel. For everybody at the Woodland Hills Football Network, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll talk to you again next week as the Wolverines travel to Mount Lebanon.